What if I told you there is a place deadlier than Squid Game? Don't believe me? Well, meet Willy Wonka, a crazy sociopath ready to murder even children. He has no morals, ethics, or regards for anything other than his chocolate paradise. That's why today I will explain how to beat every death trap and survive Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. The movie begins with an introduction to Charlie Bucket and his family, who reside in a crooked little house behind the Wonka chocolate factory. One evening, Charlie's grandpa Joe shares with Charlie his experience working for the titular Willy Wonka 20 years prior. Due to the profitability of his sweets, which caused demand for them to soar, Wonka, a brilliant confectioner, quickly advanced from operating a small corner shop to erecting a vast factory that was 50 times larger than any others in existence. Wonka's triumph wasn't without its drawbacks, though. For starters, he had to deal with odd clients like an Indian prince who hired Wonka to construct him a whole palace made of chocolate, which later melted in the heat of a bright day. At home country, Wonka encountered industrial espionage as rival candy producers sent spies to steal his trade secrets out of jealousy over Wonka's success. Frustrated, Wonka closed the factory and fired all of the employees. However, a few years later, the factory unexplainably began manufacturing chocolate. Nobody has since discovered who is in charge of it or what has become of Willy Wonka. The day after Grandpa Joe's tale, motorbike couriers from the Wonka plant hand out flyers throughout the city. In order to select 5 lucky kids to tour his factory's operations, Wonka has decided to host a contest. He has personally hidden 5 golden tickets inside of Wonka chocolate bars all around the world, and those who locate them will be the 5 winners. He guarantees that one of the 5 kids will get an extra prize beyond their wildest dreams. This should have already been a red flag for people, but somehow all the parents and kids found it to be an amusing offer. As kids scramble to find the tickets, every confectionery shop that offers Willy Wonka items has their shelves cleared, and chaos erupts throughout the world. 4 of them are ultimately discovered. Augustus Gloop, an absolute unit, discovers the first ticket. He eats a lot of candy bars and is a gluttonous eater. In fact, he bit off a piece of his golden ticket before he realized he had won. Veruca Salt, the privileged daughter of a prosperous English family who gained their fortune by shelling peanuts, wins the second ticket. Workers at her father's workplace, hired to unwrap Wonka bars that Mr. Salt had bought in bulk until the ticket was located, discovered her ticket. Violet Beauregard of Atlanta, who is a champion in a variety of endeavors, and is encouraged in her competition by her mother, whose main passion is chewing gum, discovers the third ticket. Because of her desire to excel, she sees Wonka's special prize as a contest, and thinks she will undoubtedly win. Denver, Colorado resident Mike TV finds the fourth ticket. A young kid who was totally devoted to video games used scientific reasoning and the process of elimination to find his ticket. At the nearby Smilex plant, where he works as a cap screwer for toothpaste tubes, Charlie's father also collects damaged caps to use in his model of the Wonka factory. The factory automates the assembly line and replaces Mr. Bucket with a robot that completes the task in half the time as toothpaste sales increase in response to the increase in candy sales. Charlie overhears 2 men discussing how the 5th ticket has been discovered one day while out and about in the city. He stumbles over a dollar bill in the snow as he makes his way away, and he uses it to go to a store and get a Wonka bar. He hears another woman setting down a newspaper as he's buying the bar, revealing that the 5th golden ticket was actually a lie. Charlie pauses as he breaks open his Wonka bar and realizes that he has just discovered the final golden ticket. A few grown-ups offer to purchase it from him, but the shopkeeper reprimands them and instructs Charlie to return home immediately. Grandpa Joe is ecstatic when Charlie gets home, and in accordance with the terms of the ticket, he joyfully requests to act as Charlie's legal guardian throughout the trip. Charlie first objects to this, since he believes he could sell the ticket and obtain cash for the family's necessities. Charlie is persuaded by Grandpa George, nevertheless, that he has something priceless and shouldn't give it up for them. Charlie and Grandpa Joe arrive at the factory gates the following morning with the other winners. Veruca and Mike are joined by their fathers, while Augustus and Violet are joined by their moms. They are shortly led up to the front doors and into the factory's main courtyard. The show is destroyed when sparklers go off and ignite a fire, revealing a lot of mechanical dolls singing a song about Willy Wonka. Wonka makes an unannounced side appearance as the fire dies down and provides them some orientation. Then, after introducing everyone to his facility, he leads them into a chamber he calls the chocolate room. In essence, Wonka treats it like an amusement park where visitors are encouraged to have fun. Veruca notices some small people nearby working and draws the attention of the others as they indulge in the many candies. The Oompa Loompas, as Wonka explains, are his employees. They arrived from Loompa Land, where they constantly feared being devoured by numerous wild animals. While exploring their woodlands in search of fresh, exotic flavors for his chocolates, Wonka came across them. While he was repulsed by their culture's reverence for the cocoa bean, which is the primary ingredient in the creation of chocolate, he discovered something in common with their leader. This gave him the opportunity to strike a deal in which he promised to provide the Oompa Loompas all the cocoa beans they want in exchange for their cooperation in his factory. As soon as Augustus starts attempting to sip chocolate directly from the chocolate river that flows through the chamber, things start to go wrong. Augustus ignores Wonka's pleas for him to halt and plunges in. Then he is lured inside and sucked up a pipe that extracts chocolate from the factory and delivers it to the area where Wonka's fudge is manufactured. He becomes blocked in the pipe because of his big build. The Oompa Loompas congregate around the pipe and put on a Bollywood dance routine about Augustus's gluttony and greed as the tour group stands there, perplexed and alarmed. Getting stuck in a pipe might not be on anyone's bucket list, but hey, life has a way of throwing curveballs at us. When faced with such a conundrum, it's essential to keep a level head, a flexible body, and a sense of humor. This is what you can have done to set yourself free. First things first, take a deep breath, or at least as much breath as you can muster in this confined space. Assess the diameter of the pipe. Do you resemble a sardine in a can, or more of a snugly fitted pickle? This information is crucial for determining the degree of difficulty ahead. Now it's time to get creative. Think like the legendary escape artist Harry Houdini himself. Wiggle, twist, and turn. If like Augustus, you are stuck with the mercy of God, don't move and let the Oompa Loompas help you.
Holy f***ing shit, I didn't see that coming.
Augustus tries to move himself free at the end of the number, which changes the pressure and allows him to be fired the rest of the way up the pipe and off to the fudge room. In order to find Augustus, Wonka has several of the Oompa Loompas take Augustus's mother to the fudge room. Deep drumming can be heard when Mrs. Gloop exits the tour, and a large pink Viking boat with a number of Oompa Loompas rowing it is seen. The gang gets on the boat, which carries them down the river and through various dimly lit tunnels that lead to different areas of the facility. Throughout the journey, it becomes clear that Wonka has a number of personal problems that are related to his tense relationship with his overbearing father, Dr. Wilbur Wonka. Wilbur routinely threw away any candy Willy received for Halloween and forbade him from ever eating candy. My dad used to do the same thing when I was a kid, but now that I'm older, I understand why he did that. I also throw away and hide his meds from time to time to get back at him. The boat eventually comes to rest at the entrance to the inventing room. Wonka reveals that before being made available to the general public, many of his candy formulations are tested here. The group is startled as he leads them over to a weird device, and it turns on and generates a tiny stick of gum. Violet is anxious to chew it, despite Wonka's objections, and he explains that it includes a 3-course feast. It turns out that Wonka had a good reason for advising Violet against trying the gum, since Violet starts to react negatively as soon as the gum touches the ice cream and blueberry pie that make up the dessert. The color of her skin starts to change to purple, and suddenly she swells up into a 10-foot-tall blueberry. As they bring her back to the boat and take her and her mother to another room to squeeze the juice out of her, some Oompa Loompas appear and put on a dance routine in the style of Michael Jackson. Let's look at some possible solutions for Violet's demise. First of all, she could utilize the factory's resources. The factory is filled with various gadgets, machines, and ingredients. Violet could explore the surroundings and search for tools or substances that might counteract the effects of the gum. She might discover an antidote or an apparatus designed to handle such situations. Secondly, she should experiment with other chewing gum. If Violet can find other gum flavors within the factory, she could try chewing a different gum to counteract the effects of the original gum. Perhaps there is a gum with a specific ingredient that can neutralize or reverse the blueberry transformation. If I were her, I would accept my fate as a blue pinball and go around destroying everything in my path. Charlie, Mike, and Veruca are the only members of the gang left as it moves to another room. When Charlie asks Wonka about the first sweet he ever tried, he unintentionally makes fun of his childhood memories, which raises questions from Mike about why Wonka would produce gum if he dislikes it. They soon arrive in the nut room, where skilled squirrels work around the clock to shell walnuts. When she sees the squirrels, Veruca squeals and demands to catch one for herself. Veruca descends to the factory floor in order to obtain one when Wonka declines her request. She is, however, quickly attacked by the squirrels, and after one of them prods her in the head, she is labeled a bad nut and thrown down the room's garbage chute. This is a very serious situation, and even you can fall victim to a squirrel attack. If such a situation ever arises, what should you do? First and foremost, remember that squirrels are agile, cunning, and absolutely bonkers when it comes to their beloved acorns. So, step 1, remain calm. Next, it's time to establish your dominance. Squirrels are known for their mischievous nature, so you must show them who's the boss. Start by adopting an intimidating T-pose. Now you want to scream as loud as possible for help. I mean, why is her dad just standing and watching anyways? While the Oompa Loompas pretend to be singing a Beatles-style song about Veruca, her father is given permission to go down and rescue her, but a squirrel pulls Mr. Salt down the hole as well. When Wonka hears from his staff that the incinerator is broken, the concern that it might be lighted at the bottom of the chute lessens. The great glass elevator then transports Wonka, Mike, Charlie, and their guardians through the factory's additional rooms, including Fudge Mountain, a room where Oompa Loompas shear pink sheep's wool for cotton candy, the Puppet Hospital and Burn Center, and a room where candies are tested for use in conflict. In another flashback, it is revealed that Willy Wonka eventually gave up on trying to win his father's approval and decided to run off to become a chocolatier. When he returned, he discovered that both his father and the row house where they lived had disappeared. They eventually arrive in the TV room, where Wonka has created some fairly peculiar technology, and Wonka lets Mike touch a button. Specifically, a device that sends a massive bar of chocolate to a nearby TV and reduces it to a regular size before Charlie takes it. Mike is furious that Wonka has created a teleporter without realizing it. Despite Wonka's assertions that this approach may improve television ads, Mike then turns on the device in a show of defiance and is zapped to the television, which is now the size of a mouse. Before Wonka and Mike's father are able to remove Mike off the TV, the Oompa Loompas on screen subject Mike to a heavy metal diss track. Mike may be made smaller by being stretched in the taffy puller, according to Wonka. Willy immediately realizes that Charlie and Grandpa Joe are the only visitors left when Mr. TV and Mike are brought away, and he announces Charlie as the contest's winner. Charlie finds out that Wonka, who is getting close to retiring, wanted to find a deserving heir. The least disruptive of the five, Charlie earns Wonka's invitation to live with him and work in the factory as long as he leaves his family behind. Charlie declines the offer since his family is what matters most to him in life. Wonka suffers as his mood darkens while Charlie and his family's life improves. After consulting Charlie, he ultimately makes the decision to assist Wonka in making amends with his estranged father, Wilbur. Charlie observes newspaper cuttings of Wonka's prosperity that Wilbur had amassed during the reunion, and as Wonka and Wilbur are eventually reunited, he comes to understand the importance of family. After that, Wonka permits Charlie and his family to live at the factory, where they can work 24 hours a day for minimum wage. That was all for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's movie, and for more such content, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to like and comment on this video.